your dreams? While you're awake? Dead people like in graves and coffins?
Walking around like regular people. They don't see each other. They only see what they want to see. They don't know they're dead.
How often do you see them?
All the time. They're everywhere.
It is Tuesday, the 17th of December, 2013. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And we are live on awakeradio.co.uk, the Blog Talk Network, and broadcasts around the world on Shaziz. Welcome to our show. My name's Paul.
And my name's Andy.
Have we done that once?
We've just done that, yeah.
We'll cut that bit out, right? We'll cut that bit out. Our last show before the Christmas break.
It certainly is.
Okay, so we're having a couple of weeks off because you can't get time off Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, and I'll probably be a bit too tiddly to do it, to be honest. It might be one of our most entertaining shows, to be honest. A little bit too tiddly. But anyway, thank you for listening however you're doing this. If you're listening live, thank you for your time. I hope that you think you're going to spend it wisely, because time is money, you know that, and if you are moving along this path, more and more you'll understand that we only have a limited amount of time. And what we do with it is entirely up to us. We can spend it as we choose, but we must choose wisely.
Yeah.
Or wisely. That's our choices, isn't it? Now, we're coming up to the Christmas break, and I know there's lots of people who perhaps want to, they want to spread darkness over Christmas, but I'm not having it.
Nope.
I am not having it. If you want to spread darkness, how much do you think you're helping the cause? How much do you really think you're helping the cause? Because what we do, you and I think is a little unique. And it's only unique in the fact that I don't know anybody else who does these sort of shows, but that's partly because I don't listen or look for other people who do shows like we do. This show will be on YouTube tomorrow, and if you listen on YouTube, great. But we do have clips, and we do have music included in our show, and sometimes YouTube makes us take them out. But they're on the edit below the video you're now watching. The full edit is on the Blog Talk link saying this week's show. Please, if you've got time, listen to the entire show through Blog Talk. It means more. Back to the Spreading Darkness gang. Okay, if you are part of the Spreading Darkness gang, and you think you're making the world a brighter place, you're kidding yourself, aren't you? It's not true, is it?
No.
Because in the world we live, particularly when we're speaking about people, this is very true. If we like somebody, we always talk about the positive aspects of them, the bits that we like. And the reason why we do that is because we want them to like us. So it's a complimentary introduction. It's what we do with people that we like. So when we're describing a person that's in general conversation that isn't with us, we're always complimentary to whoever's listening to what we're saying. And if that person is complimentary back about the very person that isn't there at the moment, that confirms that we're friends and we're within the same group. Now, should the conversation turn to somebody who we're not so keen on, then we never focus on the positive side of that person. We always focus on the negative side, the bits we don't like about them. And we can get carried away with oh, I don't know. Have you heard? I mean, I've heard this and I've heard that, and sometimes, and we're always in the negative about people we don't like.
Yeah.
And we always look to our listener to confirm our opinions. And if that listener doesn't confirm our opinions, we don't know if they're our allies or not. So we're not sure if they're going to run back and say what we've just said in the negative about the person we most have in common. So we always have this re-ally. In other words, confirm again that you're on the same side as me, so I can still keep liking you. And if we look at it as a positive and negative sharing method, then what we have to share is negative, isn't it? But we've got to somehow cleverly spin it.
Spin it, yeah. Turn it round.
You know,
positive.
Is it heads or is it tails? This is the flip that we've got to decide which side does it actually sit on. Are we going to tell tales out of school and repeat what we've been told by somebody else? Or are we going to use our heads and work out if we want this person to like us and to listen to us, we're going to have to be a bit smarter than that. So spreading darkness is not for me. You can have it back. I don't want it. Our shows are really just recorded because we can.
Yeah.
Because chatting amongst ourselves is what's taught us more on a Tuesday night than anything else, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has, yeah.
And if I had to put one word into what the last 12 months on air, on our own, has been, has helped me with, the one word would be focus. It would be that ability to say, do you know, it's not possible that I can actually learn all this information.
No.
It's not possible that I can do updates at this speed. I cannot update my own personal computer at the speed that this information is coming. And I don't need to. Because while I'm being programmed by outside external forces, none of it is me.
No, you're missing the important bits.
You're missing the important bits, exactly. And the important bit is learning to think for yourself.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people listening might say, well, I do that. What evidence do you have? Ask yourself this question. Have you managed to think something that nobody else has told you? Have you concluded that two unconnected circumstances can be connected and may well be a valuable part of your jigsaw? Have you done it on your own? Or are you always fishing in this pool here for something that you think you need? And like somebody who's the bag lady with the shopping trolley, the poor bag lady with the shopping trolley, who collects everything in case she needs it, is that you still? Because we did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Do you remember the early days we said, don't throw anything away? How many times in life do you actually say, right, I'm having a clear out of the understairs cupboard? So you have a jolly good clear out and you think, I haven't used any of this stuff, I'm going to get rid of it, whether it throw it or whether it give it away or whether you sell it or whether you auction it or whatever you do with it. You have a jolly good clear out, you say, I've not used this stuff for years, I won't need it. Then 2 weeks later, oh, I can't believe it, I need whatever it is that I've just got rid of. Well, that's what happens in the early days, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is what happens in the early days, that you throw too much away. But in the early days, what you're trying to do is to improve your memory capacity. Because on one level, this entire reality that we live in is quite simply judged on how much you can store. Whatever it is that you're into, whatever it is that is your specialist subject, the more you can store and produce on demand, the more valuable.
Increasing your stock.
Exactly. The more valuable you will increase, your value will become more. Yeah, that's right. Your stock will increase in value.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to learn all this stuff as if it's possible that you can learn it in its entirety is a fool's game. And I've played it. And I know I can't do it. And you've said this before. I remember the history stuff, which I was halfway interested in.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't go in. The dates wouldn't go in. I learned about how it used to be, and I learned about what I was told how it used to be, and I tried to remember the important dates in history that we look back of as signposts of our evolution, but I couldn't remember them. And I thought, why I want to go in? I thought, it's because my memory's not working very well. It's true, it wasn't. But it wasn't what I was interested in.
No, you have to have an interest in it.
You have to have something that you like. Because once the focus sets in, this doesn't become anything other than a joy to do. And you do it all day. You don't sit on the internet. You don't listen and learn from other people in the way that you do it all day. But you become able to decode what's in front of you on your own. You become your own decoder. And sometimes you get the music wrong. And sometimes it causes all sorts of trouble. But you learn to decode what's put in front of you very, very quickly. And again, looking back over the year 2013, we don't think we speak differently. But everybody we sit in company with who doesn't know much about us,
yes,
they don't understand us, do they?
Not really, no.
And when we listen to today's modern conversation, all everybody is doing is looking for an ally that repeats. In other words, I like you, I like you, I like you. So you can say, I like you too, I like you too, I like you too. Because that's a level of insecurity that we've got to, isn't it? And our show always includes little bits of clips that I think, will this help me? Will this help me show what I'm talking about? And I'm actually in the wrong bit. But let's see if I can do it. Right. You keep talking.
Well, you were talking there about probability, and the probability is that you won't remember half of the stuff that you take in.
You won't remember any of it.
And a lot of it is disinformation. It's taking you down paths that you really don't need to go down, but you've got to go down.
I was going to say, you have to do it though, don't you?
You have to. Yeah, it's part of the apprenticeship for you to work on the discernment that you've forgotten you had. And go back to previous shows about it's remembering, and you've got to remember stuff that they'd not told you. And if you get what I mean, they hide things from us, and it is a game of hide and seek.
Well, we actually forget stuff, don't we? If we look back, this whole cycle repeats, and the only thing that changes is the players. And if we go back one lifetime, or one full lifetime, should you live to be 70 or 80, then we're back in the Second World War, aren't we? So let's go back a little bit, 10 years before, and we're in the 30s. And 1930s Britain was a very different place to what we have today. It was still poor. Austerity was still the word that was on everybody's lips. And, the problems we have today were existing then, just then as well.
But we had merging technologies at the same time.
Right, but what I'm saying is that we're replaying the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And because a lifetime has passed, what we learned from the 30s has been forgotten. It's been forgotten because it wasn't passed on. The wisdom that we should find in old people is now not there. Now we can ask, why isn't it there? And we can say, well, maybe it is, but maybe we're just not listening. And maybe something's been done to old people that is causing them all sorts of trouble when they get older. Dementia being one of the biggest problems. Where's dementia come from? Why is it such a big problem now? Why is the key to learning anything? Why is dementia and Asperger's and Alzheimer's and diabetes and cancer and Parkinson's? Where's all these things coming from? Because it appears to be a bit of a raffle which one you're going to get. But it's almost taken for granted now that when you get old, you get sick. And when you get old, you get sick. And you can't remember. And you haven't... If we carry on down this road, we won't see old people as having any value. I don't know how far we are down that road now. But I suspect we've made a start down that road.
Yeah.
About who has value and who should we keep and who should we let go. Yeah. Because I know that's where we're going. Whether you like it or not. We don't we don't discuss or chat in a way that causes arguments. We just hope the people who are listening are happy to listen.
Yeah.
And please feel free to disagree with us on any point at all, because we don't claim to be right. We would love to be wrong on everything that we talk about. We'd be delighted to be wrong. I've said before, and you've agreed, when I get to the end of my journey here, when my race is run, and whatever should happen next, if something should happen next, but let's imagine that there's more to life than just this level. Whatever happens next, I want to say that I understood the level I was on. I understood what I was meant to do. I was late. I didn't know enough, but I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to actually do what it was that I was here for. After many years of walking around saying, is this it? Is this all I'm going to be? Is this my life? 5 days on, 2 days off, forever? Is this what I have? In my head, I always felt that I can do something better than this, but I don't know what it is. And while I'm busy going round in circles, paying my bills and surviving, I never get time to find out what it is. And I still haven't really found out. But I've found something that's filled that gap in. And that is educating myself. Learning how to understand the world around me in a way that allows me to enjoy learning.
Yeah.
The thing about school is you can't wait for the bell to go. You can't wait to get out. I mean, I know some people love school, and those people are sat in lofty positions making rules. I understand that. And some people just got on in school and got through, and
Yeah.
I survived school because I didn't like it.
Yeah. I was the same.
But
I just survived it. There were the geeky ones, the sporty ones.
yeah, there were geeky ones, and sporty ones, and the rest.
And the rest,
And the rest, yeah.
And the rest usually couldn't wait for the bell to ring to get out. To get off
School wasn't for me. I mean, it wasn't
work on
for
your motorbike.
But
and
now
stuff
I
like
know
that.
why.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't being told the things that would have made a difference to
No,
my life.
they-
I was being indoctrinated into a system of sophisticated slavery. I know that now.
Yeah, they were engaging us in the right things.
Well, they can't make a nation of thinkers. They can't teach everybody what we're now slowly trying to learn. Because they wouldn't have any workers. We would see them for what they are.
Yeah.
Which is...
We'd be revolting.
They're the... Yeah, that's right. But they're the elites who have no intention of ever working. Who watch us now so closely. They monitor us so closely with something called a monitor that even when we go out to playtime, the monitor's with us.
Yeah.
But they monitor us so so closely. They can steal all the ideas that we have. I mean, if the patent office didn't exist, you'd have to invent it straight away, wouldn't you? Because, if you've got a good idea, tell us. And we'll tell you if you can do it.
And we'll keep it safe for you.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Obstructive technology, I think they call it, if you actually come up with something that doesn't fit in with how they want to move things forward. We know all those things now. And maybe you have to be a certain age to accept it. Because accepting it is difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because your initial reaction is to shout and bawl and bark all day. That doesn't make many friends. Then you go through the depression bit, the pain, and then eventually you come to what is your level, your balance. You see, so you actually are okay with it after a while.
Yeah. And the other thing you were speaking about earlier, we only know a bit, and a bit is what goes in a horse's mouth to make it go left or right.
And a bite is what we're all been entitled, and we're all being asked to take, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Small bites.
Small bites, yeah. So it's actually worked perfectly through the generations, hasn't it? We mentioned the 30s there. They had, and I said they had merging technologies. They did. There was technology coming forward. We'd got the radio that was coming out, and And when we know what that was for now, we realise what it was for. And it was for the coming war, because they needed it as a propaganda tool.
Yeah, it was.
And these things all have their place in time. And this is the propaganda tool we're spouting over now.
But where have we got to? You see, we sit down and talk to people, don't we?
Mm.
And let's see if we can sort of explain to people a little bit about where we are right now. I don't know if this will work out too well. I'll try, but let's see how this goes. Let's see.
My man, holding it down. Y'all gonna like this cat. I like this cat a lot. Give it up for my man, Taylor Molly.
In case you hadn't realized, it has somehow become uncool to sound like you know what you're talking about. Or believe strongly in what you're, saying. Invisible question marks and parenthetical you knows and you know what I'm saying have been attaching themselves to the ends of our sentences, even when those sentences aren't, questions. Declarative sentences, so-called because they used to, declare things to be true, okay? As opposed to other things that are, totally, not. They've been infected by this tragically cool and totally hip interrogative tone. As if I'm saying, don't think I'm a nerd just because I've, noticed this, okay? I have nothing personally invested in my own opinions. I'm just, inviting you to join me on the bandwagon of my own uncertainty. What has happened to our conviction? Where are the limbs out on which we once walked? Have they been, chopped down with the rest of the rainforest? Or do we have, nothing to say? Has society just become so filled with these conflicting feelings of that we've just gotten to the point where we're the most aggressively inarticulate generation to come along since, a long time ago? So I implore you, I entreat you, and I challenge you to speak with conviction, to say what you believe in a manner that bespeaks the determination with which you believe it. Because contrary to the wisdom of the bumper sticker, it is not enough these days to simply question authority. You gotta speak with it, too.
No, I like that. I love the little clip from the American comedian. I like that. It's right, isn't it? It's absolutely true.
It certainly is, yeah.
That we now speak with people who are a little confused. They're so uncomfortable with speaking at a certain level that they always try and turn things into a joke. They always try and turn things into what they want to talk about. You say, shall we talk about the corrupt government? Shall we talk about what on earth's been done with our food? Shall we talk about the papers telling us that minerals and vitamin supplements serve no use to us? Shall we say, how can they say that? Why are they saying that? Why is it that we've been told this by the newspapers? Because vitamins and minerals cannot ever be the wrong thing to supplement. Because we know our food is mass produced for profit.
Yeah.
And the methods that are used to produce the food we eat in processed methods, we're not even allowed to know how it's done because we wouldn't eat it. you do realise that if I said that sentence to a regular person, they would be wide-eyed and looking for the exit.
Yeah. I can remember a grandma that baked, and all she did all the time was baking and cooking. She did a part-time job. But how many people out there can remember a grandma that baked? Can you remember? Did your grandma bake?
It was part of what everybody did.
It was, and that skill has been slowly taken away from us, because I'm sure people out there have grandmas that don't bake now. They probably have grandmas that go to the golf club instead.
But our lords and masters have managed to... I mean, it's an absolute miracle how they've done it. They can prepare food on a mass scale.
They can.
Cheaper than we can at home.
Yes.
They can actually do this.
And it's grown all year round. We're trying to grow stuff at the moment. We're into the second year, and it's if we had to live on what we could grow out there, we'd be starving to death.
That'd be bloody thin.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. So we know how hard it is to grow it organically, because we're trying it organically.
We've done all the steps, haven't we? We've done all the steps, and we've been to meetings. We looked at the alternative money system.
Yeah.
We've had lots of guests on over our time doing this. We've been through the whole charade of what it is that we think we should do.
Yeah, joined up with the herbalist.
Yep.
Tried growing our own grub, put water filters in.
Yep, we've done it all.
Doing everything that we can.
And at least we can hold our heads high, and so that we are actually doing what we're saying.
Yeah.
And I know quite clearly a lot of people who've joined this have joined this because they found people like them. Again, this is going to sound like I'm shooting bullets, but I'm not. I'm talking to my friend Andy, and you're listening.
I am.
No, they're listening. at the other side of this two-faced window.
Yeah.
Okay, at the other side, people are listening, but I'm talking to you here, and I'm going to ask you a question here. In our time and experience of meeting people from all walks of life, but mostly from similar walks of life, could this possibly, this next statement be true, Your Honour? Right? There's a certain number of people who have been attracted to this stuff because they actually... misery enjoys company. Misery enjoys company, and their lives are not going too well, and they've found a little outlet and familiar company that gets to blame somebody else, and then gets to form an alliance to fight back against the very deity that's made their life a misery. And it's not that those people are wrong. It's that they appear to like, at that point, they stay there. They stay there. And it's all about fighting the money system.
Yeah,
they're not going to give it up. Right? They're never going to give it up. They'll start a war. They'll kill us all if they have to. They're not going to give it up. No matter what we say, they're not going to give it up. I know there are people out there, and this is part of the journey, that will sell you hopes and dreams of what we can achieve.
Yeah.
And we've listened to those people.
We have, intently.
But all they're doing is sharing their dream of a future that could exist if everybody did what they said has to be done.
Yeah. But we've got to agree on...
Everybody who says, and I'm okay with that, has had very little contact with the outside world. Because everybody, and I mean every single person, they don't just have a different fingerprint and DNA reading, and they're different. Every single person is different. And they're all looking to survive. And history teaches us that the more subservient you act, and the more peaceful you act, right? And I don't feel comfortable saying this. You get killed. You get crushed. Because those that won't fight die. Now, we live in a different time to what history has shown us happens to people who won't fight. We live in a different time in history because The war we're having is inside our heads.
Yeah.
The war is for the mind. They want to control us remotely, and that means they have to control everything we see and think. They want to remote control us. And it's going very well. It's going frighteningly well. Now, our shows are not about spreading darkness, but sometimes you have to face what's in front of you. And what's in front of you is a type of people that are lovely people who try and do the right thing because somebody else has told them it's the right thing. And they give to charity, and they send the kids off to school, and they sit the kids down with the electronic babysitters, and they give them processed food, fluoride toothpaste, water out the tap, and they don't think they've got anything else to do with their child's upbringing. All they've got to do is prepare them in the morning and get them off, pick them up in the evening, clean them, turn them round, put them to bed, and deliver them back again. And as far as they're concerned, that's being parents. Okay, there's too many doing that now. Outside forces are bringing up their kids. The school and the electronic babysitter, whether it be a tablet, a Kindle, a television. The number one Christmas present this year for the younger end is a robo-fish. That's a remote control fish that swims around its own bowl. And the number one present for people, older kids and adults, is headphones. Headphones is the number one gift this Christmas. And if it wasn't, the newspapers will make sure it is, because they've told you it is. Right, they've told you that headphones are going to be the number one present, so you're going to think to yourself, well, I haven't got, whoever it matters, headphones, so I'm going to have to go and get them now. Remember we mentioned that, I'm sort of flipping subjects here, this vitamin thing that's in the papers, it's actually all over, it's happening all over this. Vitamins and supplements, they're not worth, just don't bother with them.
No,
right, don't believe that. Don't believe
that. And even if you're taking them, they're saying that they just go straight through you.
Right,
your body says it doesn't need them.
Don't believe that. You decide for yourself, but don't believe that.
Yeah.
This is part of a bigger agenda. This is part of a bigger agenda for us. Just don't believe it.
No. All
right, you decide. You decide what you put in your body. That's the fuel. That's the fuel. That's what your engine will use to power your journey. And this not taking vitamins and supplements. All right, if you say it's true, it's true. I'm going to say I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think you should supplement. In today's modern environment, you're a fool if you don't. You should supplement. So where you get them from is up to you, but definitely do that. Anyway, we have to deal with what is around us.
Yeah.
And over the past 12 months, we've certainly shared how difficult it has been. Because it has been difficult.
And still is.
And the newspapers, they do tell us a version of the truth that we have to be aware of. But just use the bits you need. Now, a headline that I want to go with is that we've spoken about this before, but the newspapers are now playing their part, and that is that the generation that you and I represent, fella, we're definitely going to be poorer than the generation that's passed.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this before.
We certainly did, yeah.
You know, we have lower levels of healthcare. We got all sort that you've actually just gone past it a little bit. Actually, the story that you want is it's in here. It's in here. If you just go through there, this is a good blog, the Scripps Night Daily. I do like the Scripps Night Daily. It's very, very good. And this is the headline: UK moving backwards, half a century of social progress reversed in the last decade. You have a little look through there, and I'll do the intro, and you have a little look through, because there's quite a few little facts and figures in there about where we've got to. And the Scripps Night Daily is a cracking blog. I do like it. Lots and lots of info in there. You have a look through. There's some facts and figures that I want to go through if we can.
Yeah. Where do you want to start with it, though?
Wherever you want to start. I can't read it from here. I can't read that. It's far too small for me. That's why I give it all to you, so you can have a look, because I can't see it.
Well, I had a look through, yeah. It started off about the unions, basically.
Well, how the unions had to be crushed. And we never saw it, did we? We never saw that the unions were the government crushing the working people. We didn't quite see that, did we?
No, we didn't.
We saw militant unions. We were given a narrative that made us, persuaded us that unions were bad.
Yes.
When unions were the very reason that we got shorter working hours, better holidays, better health care. And everything that we had, that we've now been taken off us, was because of the strength of the united working man in a union.
Yeah, my great-granddad Jimmy Lamb. He was instigator of the trade unions in Newcastle into the pits, and he got fired for it. And there was pits down in Castleford, and by the time he'd ridden his motorbike and sidecar down the old A1 down to Castleford, by the time he got there he'd been blacklegged. There was no work for him there because he was cited as a trade unionist. And at the time, I suppose they were good. The workers definitely needed some empowerment. They needed to empower themselves against the tyranny that was profiteering.
But the working man doesn't see that the governments have crushed the working man's power.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, the firemen are getting it now.
Yes, they are, yeah.
And we don't see them as connected to us at all.
No.
We don't... I mean, the students were getting... You know, we talked about the students last week, and we don't see them as... I mean, the students particularly, they're the future. They're the future. They're the ones that we would like to go to work, earn 50, 100, 150,000 pounds a year, and then we might have something of a pension to actually collect at the end. Because we know we're not going to.
No.
But people know this, you know that. People, everyone we talk to, you said that you do know there's going to be no pension for us.
Yeah.
Or what little there is to collect won't actually be enough for us to survive on. And people raise their eyebrows and say, how do you know? Because we're already there.
Yeah.
We're already there. Old people that were told that they'd be looked after from cradle to grave.
Yeah.
Right, and now dying. I mean, 33,000 old people are forecast to die this winter, and it hasn't started yet. Winter doesn't officially start until 4 days' time.
No. I know my parents, who have said in previous shows that they were the ones that they've had the kids, they've had the house, they've had the jobs, and now they're reaping the benefits in the pension, and they're doing okay. So they had to give a generation some of this to say, look, this is how it could be. And then we've gone into the austerity, and it's just a way of stealing it back off us. But that fits in with the unions, in with my great-grandparents.
But we're technically earning a lower wage now. I mean, not you and I specifically, but we're talking about, you know, the class that we live in. And the working class. Our wages are actually lower. It's almost impossible for us to save. Most people still live... I mean, I think 40% of people over 40 still don't own a house. This is not our experience, is it? This wasn't our experience, was it?
No, but it was my great-grandparents' experience. They did moonlight flits. All they had was a sideboard and a bed. And that sideboard and a bed went everywhere with them. They were the only things that they actually owned. And when they got behind with the rent, they had to get out. They had to
look
move
at
on.
the perfect storm that we live in. We've got a triple whammy of meagre pay rises, inadequate pensions, and soaring property prices. And you think, oh, soaring property prices. No, you won't keep them. You won't keep them at all, because we'll actually have less financial security than our parents. Because we know that a house is going to have to be signed over, right, for any care that we need. The average cost of healthcare, should you have to go into a home, is about 27 grand a year. Well, the average pension is about £13,000 a year for retired people, and that's if they've got a supplementary pension. What I'm saying is that here we are at Christmas, and we can talk about the ghost of Christmas past, and we're living in the ghost of Christmas present. Yeah. And we're being told the ghost of Christmas future.
And we can see the future, yeah. And it's parallel to what's gone on before.
Yeah, but we used to have rights. I mean, unions used to have rights. They used to bargain for pay and conditions. They didn't see differences. They collected together.
Yeah, they did, but they were allowed to set them up because they knew what was going to happen. We know our controllers.
We know now. We know the union leaders now. Yeah. We're having 2 Sunday lunches, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
They were actually having lunch at 2 houses.
And they set it up.
And of course they were.
Of course,
now we understand the system better.
Yeah.
I always do it from, how would I do it? What would I have done if I had the power to play both sides?
And
Well, I'd pay both sides.
And it was at the time there was only Conservative or Liberal. There was no Labour Party. It was the development of the Labour Party.
But Heath and Thatcher and Major and Blair and Cameron, right?
Yes.
They all did the same thing.
Of course,
they all attacked the working man.
Yeah.
No matter what colour flag they had.
No, it didn't
they
matter.
attacked the working man.
That's where
they were determined that they were going to crush him. You know, between 1980 and 1993, the Acts of Parliament, 6 of them were passed. Right? They outlawed secondary action or sympathy strikes.
Yeah.
They just said you're not allowed to do them.
No.
And employers went along with this. the big employers said that, okay, well, that's what we'll do. It means that they couldn't strike in solidarity.
No. But the coal industry was linked to the steel industry and the energy industry. We couldn't have those things without coal. And Thatcher knew that coal was done. She wanted to prop up the oil billionaires, and then they ram the CO2 thing down our throat. And are these oil billionaires, going to give up their billions for CO2? For the no, they're not. And that fits in with the trade unions. They let the trade unions come in to set one against the other.
I know.
And then it brought down the demise.
I know.
And then they said, it was the unions that brought down these companies. It wasn't at all. It was done on purpose. And it isn't until you get this far down the line that you can look back and you realise, that it was all co-opted, because we live in cooperation.
And here we are today. And when you can see the road you've been on, and you've an idea where you're going, you mustn't be surprised when you get there.
No.
Because, this economy, this is, you hear the many parasites saying that we now have the fastest growing economy in Europe. Well, God help the rest of Europe, because if this is the fastest growing economy, they're struggling as well. But here's a factor that I want to go on to. We also have the fastest falling wages.
Mm-hmm.
Our wages are falling fastest. In other words, the controllers are making the UK more efficient.
Yeah.
Okay? We pay more and get less.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving it into a global village,
yeah.
which sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Mm.
It almost sounds like pick your pitch.
Sounds really cosy.
Pick your pitch.
Yeah.
Where would you like to stay? It's efficiency they're after.
Yeah.
And they do it on numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this game is going to keep going while the government can keep raping us all, okay, to pay their bills. And their bills are quite simply what they keep, because the only thing they're interested in is being paid. All the things we need are stuck on the credit card. 10, 15, 20 billion a month they're borrowing to keep the lights on, which is not strictly true. It used to be. It did used to be, actually, to keep the lights on. Now private companies are trying to turn our lights off.
Yes.
But here we are, and we're proud of ourselves that we've allowed it, and we're embarrassed, aren't we? We actually started doing this because of the shame that we felt,
yeah,
and the ignorance that we'd had to overcome, and that ignorance was something that really bothered us a great deal, wasn't it? And it really was. We were blind.
So we'd never done our homework before, had we?
But naughty children won't do the homework, will they?
No.
Now here's a clip from Adrian Brody. I'll talk about this in a minute.
To take something in.
Okay, excellent. To absorb. Anyone?
Everywhere, all the time.
So what is ubiquitous assimilation?
Always absorbing everything, everywhere, all the time.
Well done, George. How are you to imagine anything if the images are always provided for you? Who here read 1984 last year? Good. Anyone? Meredith?
Having two opposing beliefs at once and believing that both are true.
Excellent, Meredith.
Why do you always suck his dick, you fucking kiss ass?
To deliberately believe in lies while knowing they're false. Examples of this in everyday life. Oh, I need to be pretty to be happy. I need surgery to be pretty. I need to be thin, famous, fashionable. Our young men today are being told that women are whores, bitches, things to be screwed, beaten, shit on, and shamed. This is a marketing holocaust. 24 hours a day, for the rest of our lives, The powers that be are hard at work, dumbing us to death. So, to defend ourselves and fight against assimilating this dullness into our thought processes, we must learn to read, to stimulate our own imaginations, to cultivate our own consciousness, our own belief systems. We all need these skills to defend, to preserve our own minds.
I think we've spoke about these things before, haven't we?
Mm.
I can't begin to tell people that if you don't read, you can never picture and you can never paint. And I don't mean physically paint with a brush. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm actually saying is that you'll never be able to speak and paint pictures with how you speak. You heard that little clip. It's from a film from last year which I haven't seen. And it's called The Detachment, or just Detachment. I don't actually know. It was sent to me. Somebody on our subscriber list saw it, and bless them, they thought of me. They thought of us.
Very good.
You know, they just sent it. They said, "This is, you know," and this is what we talk about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you don't go to the supermarket and buy the outside of the packet, or do you? Or do you nowadays? Or do you? Do you really? I'm asking. I mean, do we?
Yeah, it's packaging, it's marketing, sales and marketing, isn't it? It's how it looks.
Why is it called retail? Can you remember? You remember that?
Yeah, putting.
Because when we see the product, we attach the story that's been told to us about it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the old days, it was your gran and grandma, your grandma and granddad, and the older people. You'd see all the things that they used. We'll just go with supermarkets and food for now. And, you know, you saw they used Bisto and Oxo and Hovis.
Vim and
all those things, yes. Yeah. And that was just, those were things that they had.
Mm.
So, without question, you went and bought them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you did. I mean, do we see supermarkets for what they are? Which is just the wholesale premises for the people who make the products to retail to us. Because the people who make the products, they produce the divert for the eyes and mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a divert for the eyes and mind is advertisement. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's to catch your eye. A divert for the eyes and mind. So they produce the advert and control independent television, which of course it isn't. The only reason why they advertise on independent television is so that any news stories that could bias our opinions on their product or service will not be broadcast if they're advertising on that channel. The independent channel, which is completely reliant on advertising income. Well, who owns who?
Who owns who then, yeah?
Who owns who?
How independent are they?
Well, they're not independent, are they? They're not. Who owns who? If your biggest benefactor is British Gas, whatever, gas, electric, water, and supermarkets, who owns who? Well, I think we've got our answer. Back to the supermarkets, why it's called retailing. It is quite simply because you attach the story that's been put in your head by whoever, and when you see the product, you remember the story and buy it. And that's why it's called retailing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I've never read that anywhere. It's because you haven't read a book. It's in lots of books from the 1800s. The language we speak today is just a product of what they were speaking then. And it's a lot easier for me to decode the 1800s than it is where we are today, because the language was simpler then. We make life too complicated. And that's part of the reason I think why you and I sit down and do this. Because for some reason that I can't put my finger on, we like to make life complicated.
Yeah.
And I've come to the conclusion, at least in my experience, the reason why we like to make life complicated is because we don't understand it. So you have your version why it's hard, and I have my version why it's hard, and they have their version why it's hard, and they rage against the machine at this point, and you rage against the machine, and we all are raging against the machine, not realising that we actually live nothing more than a gangster's paradise. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And we are live on the awakeradionetwork.co.uk, so awakeradio.co.uk, Shazizz and the Blog Talk Network. Thank you for listening, however you're doing so. If it's on YouTube, the entire show is below where we're speaking to you from now, on the Blog Talk This Week's Show link. So welcome back then. That time has flown.
It certainly has.
That time has flown.
As it does.
A gangster's paradise. If you're just figuring this out, don't get too excited. Don't get too hot-headed. And don't think it's just happened. Because it hasn't just happened.
No.
We're living in a world of cycles.
We certainly
And
are.
it is cyclical, okay? It is. We go round and round and round, and the chains and the wheels and the handlebars and the seat, it's all just bicycle.
It is.
We live in a bicycle, a binary cycle, ones and zeros.
You've picked out tonight an article here that encompasses my life going back 3 generations.
This is when we were sold into socialised democracy. Now, this word democracy, okay, right from the 1604 King James, okay, democracy, all right, all men are equal. Right? Now, that sounds great, except we don't live in a democracy. There is no historical evidence that all men are equal.
No.
And this has been troublesome for us. And all the boys who are doing the free man on the land thing, challenging the justice system, good luck, guys, I think you're brave. I think preparing to lose and going to court, and once you've gone to court, you've lost already. You know that, don't you? It's just how much you're going to pay.
You've gone to their place of business.
It's just how much you're going to pay. You've already accepted that you're going to pay something. And they're going to have it one way or another. They're going to get you by hook or by crook. And that's addiction or deception, and they've deceived you. This law system is not for us. There's one law for them and one for us, and it's not for us because the one that we think's for us is to protect them from us.
Yeah.
That's what it is. To ask for justice from an injustice system is silly.
Yeah.
We really just... It's awfully simple, perhaps, what we could consider. And that is that we have to come to a point in our education and saying, okay, I've watched and listened enough. Now I have to speak for myself. Now I have to speak my truth. And be prepared for it to change.
Yeah.
Be prepared to be wrong. And never get yourself into I'm quoting facts and figures that somebody else gave me. All you can really do is share what you see, and it's obviously the past, so it's a see-saw system. That's all you can do. Anything else causes chaos, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you can go on Go Ogle, and you can find positive and negative about everything.
Yeah.
This is a good thing, oh, I think it's a bad thing. This is a good thing, oh, I think it's a bad thing. What did TPV have on the other day? And I thought, oh, that's just such a shitty subject. It was page 3. I want a guy to come on who says that he doesn't like page 3. Right? If that's not stage broadcasting, I don't know what it is. Right? Page 3's got nothing to do with me. But there is somebody who doesn't understand the bait and master system. Because it is a bait and master system.
Yeah.
And it's not just sex, but sex is shared experience. It's just a bait and master system. And if a girl wants to take her clothes off and appear on page 3, and the guy wants to buy the paper because she's there, that's business. And that's none of my business. That's not business I want to be associated with, and I don't do that business. But who am I to question that happy exchange of business? And this is where we go wrong. We have opinions on too many things. We don't need to have opinions on things. We need to share what we've seen and try and work out how to do that without creating an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And they know that'll never happen.
Well, we try. I mean, how hard do we try
try
every week?
Yeah.
This is what I've seen. This is what it made me think was the truth at the time of seeing it. And if it's changed, and you're prepared to show me how it's changed, so I can see it too, So you speak to me in the way that you can paint a picture, that I can see your picture, so you can broadcast and I receive, then I'm happy to say the picture you've just painted is closer to now what I'm thinking. I want you to help me by disagreeing with me. I don't want you to fight with me. I want you to disagree, and I'll say, why do you disagree? Then you tell me in words that allow you to paint the picture in my head, and I say, thank you for that. That really has helped. I was wrong in looking at that part of it, and now you've asked me to look at this part. It makes better sense that this is where I went wrong. Like all blokes on a journey, how many stop and ask for directions? Not many. And even if you do stop and ask for directions, do you go back to where you went wrong? Or do you just keep going round until somebody manages to point you where you should be?
Because you think you'll find your way eventually.
But you didn't find it yourself, did you?
No. You know, you had to stop and ask.
The actual enjoyment of this whole journey is discovering something that no one's told you that makes more sense than anything else you previously knew. Isn't that the best part of this journey? Isn't that what keeps us walking along this road? Isn't that what has made us do our homework? And if you haven't done your homework, you'll never actually get to join the class and sing off the same hymn sheet. Do you see what I mean by that?
Yeah.
I love sitting down with people who can talk back to me. It's not that I'm anything special. It's just I'm dying to learn. I don't want to waste 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours talking to somebody and not having anything to show for it after I've done it. That seems like, what have I just done? I've just given, you know, we give these 2 hours free. But it is it's like a bit of a selfish show, because it's our show, and by speaking it into reality, I can hear myself saying it, and does it make sense? And you come up with some corkers. You do more listening. I know I do more talking, you do more listening. But when we listen back to the show after we've recorded it, you come up with some cork. You do come up with some corking one-liners. Now, let's go back to this social democracy. This is socialism that we fought the Second World War against. Okay? The National Socialists.
Yes.
Okay, this is where our great-grandparents and even grandparents, I suppose,
on my side.
They dug trenches,
Yeah.
got into ships and flew planes and fired guns, and they weren't frightened. They were prepared to die to stop the halt of the National Socialists. And just after the Second World War, the UK developed a social housing policy, along with everything else that socialism brings.
It did, and my granddad was involved in both of those.
Well, because prior to this, we were being stuffed by rents, weren't we?
Yeah, by private rents. And they, as I've said, my great granddad and my granddad, when he was a little boy, remembers having to do moonlight flits because they couldn't afford the rent and they had to find somewhere cheaper. And then fast forward then to when he's 18, 19, and he's been drafted into the forces, and he told a few lies because he was a bricklayer by trade, and he ended up in the RAF. Now, how does a bricklayer end up in the RAF? I'll tell you about that some other day.
It's that human trait of saying what needs to be said.
He said
it's true.
He told some lies. He told some lies to get into the RAF, and he got in because they just wanted to draft him in. Anyway, he went through the war. Saw some things that he never could talk about and wouldn't talk about.
Well, that hasn't changed, has it?
No, they came out broken. They went in there. They thought they would. Well, they came out broken people. They came out scarred, and
because they knew we're not made to kill each other.
No, but
we're not.
But he saw the forming of the Labour Party, and my great granddad Jimmy Lamb was involved in that. And ended up going to jail for it and dying very young because of it, because of the squalid conditions in Armley Jail. But he went through the war.
I never knew that. You've never told me that
No,
before.
but we'll cover that some other time. He came out of the war and straight out of the war into building houses because we needed social housing, and that's why this bit in here that you've got, and I'll just read it out to you. The post-war Labour government of Clement Attlee built more than 1 million homes between 1945 and 1951, and my granddad was building those homes.
80% of them.
Some of them around this area.
80% of them being council homes with subsidised rents.
Yes,
because they knew that the private landlords were screwing us all.
Yeah.
They were screwing us all. The rents were too high. And the landlords didn't. There was no sanitation.
No.
There was no bathroom as we know it.
No, there were still outside toilets.
It was squalor. If it was, usually it was shared.
Yeah.
It wasn't a toilet every house. Not all the time.
No, there were toilet block that the whole street shared. Yeah.
Exactly, and people don't. This is just a lifetime ago.
It is. It's not long ago.
And we've got to remember the unions, the strength of the unions. We've got to give them some credit for where we are today.
Yeah. Yes.
It was their united strength.
It was that brought a lot of this about.
Because we're old enough now to see that the 70s was a very, very rocky decade. But the one before it, the 60s, was possibly, in real terms, our most successful.
Yeah.
We know that in real living, what we call disposable income, it was 1968 that the families here in the UK had the most disposable income. And it still stands that 1968 was the year, and here we are in 2013 and coming to the end of it.
Yes.
Because the 70s was the biggest bank heist in history that nobody ever talks about. And that's where we decimalisation. That's where the money was finally stolen from us. That's where the money that had real value ingrained into it, because it had silver and gold to some extent, and copper in it, that money was taken from us, and we were given counterfeit. And then we were playing with the proverbial monopoly, because the monopolies were taking over.
Yeah.
And even though we see all the different shop signs and all the different, these comparison sites, why do they exist, you think? The illusion.
It is illusion.
Competition.
It is just as
it all comes from the same place.
Just as the development of the Labour Party was an illusion of something else to vote for.
It was for the working man, wasn't it?
It was, yes. It was.
It was developed for the working man to think he had a voice.
Yeah.
It was nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the sort, because we got Clement and Attlee there. Clement and Attlee was a coalition government. Who was it? Conservative and Liberal.
Yep.
What have we got now? And going back to my granddad building houses, you can still see the houses today that have been left. They were concrete, prefabricated.
Right, okay.
You know the concrete
you're on
slab
the
ones?
You're on the prefabs, yeah.
My granddad refused to build those. He refused. He said, this is we've fought a war, now we want housing, and this is substandard housing. And he refused to build it because they were thrown up. They were thrown up in slabs. And it's proved today now they were only meant to be for a temporary period. How many times have we heard this? Oh, it's only temporary. This austerity, it's only temporary. No, this is here to stay.
I know.
So
it is.
Just as these
this is the new
houses
we've got the new normal.
now.
We've got the new normal.
Yeah.
And the kids are accepting the new normal.
They are.
No houses, no cars, no holidays, no dreams for them.
I've got a joiner friend who lives in one of these prefabricated houses, and they're cold and they're hard to keep warm, and they're starting to fall down now. And the council, what have they done? They've tried to put bits on the outside of them. And what we should have done, we should have levelled them. We should have levelled them long ago and built proper housing. And this is what the state we're in now. I remember we lived in my grandparents on both sides lived in council housing, and I now live in a council house that I've bought. I'm renting from the bank. I'm renting a council house from the bank.
All the estate across from me.
Yeah,
are ex-council houses,
and that's the estate I live in, isn't it? And I remember when we moved to Ripon, that was the only house that we could afford to buy in Ripon. Now it's a lovely, it's 3-bedroom semi, and it's built like a brick toilet, as the saying goes.
But what happened was it turned us into a nation of wanting to be homeowners.
Yes,
but also the sharks moved in, didn't they?
The
Jaws,
the Margaret Thatcher era.
But we had Jaws first.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
yeah, right. And this was a shark eating man. Right, and these things aren't by mistake. They're not silly. It's a marvellous system that we have. They created an illusion because we were using debt money at this time.
Yeah,
we were using debt money. There was no credit money.
No,
it was debt money. But they called it credit.
They did,
and we somehow got fooled. They called it credit, and they knew that they wanted to create Okay, the baby boomers. That's what you and I are. We're called the baby boomers. And we were going to be, or we were on track to be, the most successful generation of you know, in the modern era. You know, we had everything going for us. We never knew we'd been lured in.
No.
We'd been lured in to a trap.
Yes.
We'd been entrapped into, we want to be a nation of homeowners.
Yeah.
Because they know that's what we want. We want our own house.
Yeah.
So, they gave us the chance to buy it. And they lured us in with the store cards first.
Yeah.
And then start your pension and you'll be able to retire at 50. Remember that?
Yes, yeah.
And then the endowment policy. Start that and it'll probably come up with enough money to pay your house off at 16, 17, 18 years. But if you leave it full term to 25, you'll probably have as much again over. You'll have a surplus.
You will.
So if you bought your house for 40,000, keep the endowment going, it'll pay out 80,000 at the end, pay your mortgage off, and you got 40 grand left. Remember that?
Yes, I do. Fell for it twice. Because they kept the old guy that sold us ours rang me up one day and he said, you know that endowment policy I've sold you? I said, yes, I need to come and see you again because I've had some information through the FSA, it was then, Financial Services Authority.
It still is.
And he was a nice old gentleman, Mr. Jowett, and he had to sell us another one. Because that other one, but he says, don't pack that one in, you might as well keep that one going and just
you need another one. And then they got you additional voluntary contributions.
Yeah.
Give us some more money and we'll give you an even better pension. And we fell for it all, didn't we? We did.
Fell for it all,
We fell for it all, and it was a policy that was so successful looking back.
Yeah.
That from the beginning of the 80s to the beginning of the 90s, we jacked the house prices up almost 500%.
We did, yeah.
In some areas.
Yeah. And that links in again with what we've just been saying about the council housing. I remember we had the opportunity to buy my grandma and granddad's council house that was my great-grandma's and granddad's.
Yep.
They took it, and I've said before in previous shows, my great-granddad lived in one half of the house and my grandma and granddad lived in the other. They split it in two. And I remember him saying, Margaret Thatcher brought in the right to buy, and my granddad saw it as an opportunity for me and my brother to buy the house. And you know, we could have bought the house in Yeadon, near Yeadon Airport, and we could have bought it for £8,000. £8,000 for a 3-bedroomed house. It's just, and because they'd lived in it so long, they got it cheaper. They got a discount.
But we've done that before. You see, what year was that? Let's do the year.
That'll have been 83, 84.
Right, but that was a 40%, 6%, 70%. What was the discount? I can't remember. If you'd lived in it long enough, was it a
70% discount?
Yeah. But let's go back to how we really did jack up the house prices, shall we? Because in the early 70s, a 2-bedroom bungalow, this is, was where I was living at the time, was about £2,000-ish. Think about that. And the average wage at that time, again for the working man, because working men could still afford houses then. They could still afford houses then. I think the average was about £1,000, or just over £1,000 a year, and the house was only £2,500.
Yeah.
It wasn't a frightening thing to do.
No.
Look where we are now.
Look where we are now.
And you only had to work 3 years to pay the damn thing off. 3 or 4 years in the very early 70s. 3 or 4 years you could pay it off comfortably. Well, 5, I suppose, if you really get. But now you can never pay them off.
No, and all they were doing was selling it off to their friends. There's a little snippet here. I'll read it out to you. It says, Thatcher Supporters Act is if the right to buy scheme transformed the class system in the UK and created some sort of egalitarian revolution in the home ownership.
No, it didn't, no.
It didn't, no.
It didn't, no. They dangled the carrot and we chased after it.
But it says, in reality, home ownership is just 9% higher in the UK today than in 1979. More than a third of ex-council houses now sit in the property portfolios of wealthy landlords. In fact, the son of Thatcher's housing minister at the time the right to buy scheme was launched became the proud owner of no less than 40 ex-council houses.
And there's 5 million people on the list waiting for houses.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm ashamed that I've bought one.
It doesn't matter
It
now.
doesn't matter.
We can't go back and change
you can't
the
go
past.
back and change it.
But we now know 5 million people want houses.
Yeah.
In fact, I now know I've got a family in Ireland, Southern Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the family I've got, two of the guys that I'm thinking of, bricklayers, electricians, roofers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in Ireland, because their property boom was tremendous, it was actually their property boom was just 6-7 years ago.
Yes.
And they weren't just building houses, they were throwing them up.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Ireland's only a small...
full estates that were
Absolutely.
doing work.
Yeah, but there's thousands of houses now in Ireland.
Yes.
Not
Empty.
finished.
Mm.
And Ireland's got tens of thousands of tradesmen unemployed.
Mm.
This doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense, no.
Okay? Why pay tradesmen to be unemployed when they can finish their houses for a little bit more?
Yeah.
Those houses are worthless, so why not finish the houses off and rent them out to people at a price they can afford paying?
Mm.
That's Ireland.
They're on about pulling them down, aren't they? They're on about demolishing them.
Now, we have to take some part and some blame
Yes,
in why
definitely.
house prices are too expensive.
Yes, greed.
We understand that.
Yeah.
Temptation was... It's a terrible thing to resist, this temptation, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is a terrible thing to resist.
Yeah.
And we have to accept that we were part of the problem.
Yes.
But that's accepting that the game players are smarter than us.
Yeah.
And the only thing they have to control us with is money.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It wasn't the first freedom that you can remember ever having. Do you remember what it was?
I do, yes. Forgetting about the money. Leaving the... It's not about the money.
It was stopping the paper chase, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We decided that the paper chase it was impossible to catch.
Yeah.
We couldn't catch this paper chase, so why do we still keep playing?
Yeah. Well, yes, exactly.
But you have to mean it when you say it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't mean that, do they?
No.
Don't.
No.
We think that buying stuff is somehow going to make us happy.
Mm.
Yeah, as the clip I played from the film Detached,
Double think.
we know it's not going to, really.
No.
So why do we do it?
Mm.
It's because we want the praise of others, isn't it?
Yes.
We actually want the praise of others. We actually want to be thought of to be more than we are.
Mm.
And isn't that the basic mistake that we make?
Yeah.
That we already think we're more than we are.
Yeah. It's the Victorian mentality, isn't it, with the aspidistra. You invited everybody in to come in and see your aspidistra because that was the plant that you
right.
needed to have. Yeah. And you bought a special plant pot for it, massive plant pot for it to go in.
I must have missed this. I don't remember this. But yeah, we don't we just go through life cherry picking things that we like, and the reason that we cherry pick things we like is because we think we are like that. Someone said so and so, and I like what he said.
Well, we click like all day long.
So we think that we're like that.
Yeah.
And because yeah, that's right, we do click likes. And because we click those likes, we think, that's me, that's me. They've said something that I understand,
I like.
and that's me. I hear it and I resonate with it. That's broadcasting on my frequency, and that means that I'm just the same. So I'm going to click like, which means the same. This is a lie, isn't it?
It is.
Remember the homework? Look in the mirror and tell the truth. Can you do it? No, you can't do it to start with, can you?
No.
It ain't pretty, is it? How many times have we said that if this recovery, because that's what we're in, if this recovery does not feel that a major part of you died and you replaced it with something that you're more comfortable with, you're still living the nightmare, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're still living the very nightmare. It does drive people nuts, this. If you don't get out of the nightmare.
Yeah.
It does drive you insane. And it takes some doing climbing out this bloody hole, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah.
It's a week before Christmas. And then maybe it hasn't been an inspiring show, but we try and say what we see.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And we don't actually jazz it up.
No.
We don't actually make it to be more than it is.
No. Well, for all those people that maybe you are in rented housing, maybe you are in a council house, it's nothing to be ashamed of. We forget we don't need very much. We need a roof overhead. We need food in our belly, and we need to be warm in winter.
What was the? We were talking yesterday briefly. It wasn't just the money chase, but we said when you meet somebody who's let's be polite and say a bit grumpy, bit not happy with the world, you know, and you say what's the matter, and they'll launch into a tirade of how the world's not looking after them, and eventually when you get to chatter and they say, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And you say, well, go on then. Yeah. And they go, how do you mean? I said, well, go on then. And this causes a lot of trouble, because it's just now occurred to them that nothing is stopping them. But something is, because they're not happy. They think it's association and acquisition that will bring the very happiness that they're looking for. But it's not true, is it?
No.
The very happiness that you're looking for is the head that you need to do some cleaning in.
Yes.
You need to clean this out.
Yep.
This is full of clutter and rubbish.
Yeah, you need to
This is
restock it.
full of garbage. This is so blocked up that you cannot see where you're going. And if you can't see where you're going, you can't see where you're going wrong. You do realise that if you speak to people like that, they've gone by now. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, their eyebrows have raised and their eyes have gone to one side.
But it's not wrong, is it?
No.
It's not wrong. We can't do anything in our heads if it's too full. There are some people that I meet that are so full of themselves that no matter what I say, they haven't got room to get anything in. Because they're too full of stuff they already know.
Yeah.
These people are just waiting for me to shut up so they can launch in to what they want to say. And I recognise these people. We're a very fickle set of people, because we should care about what we love. And what we love, we should care about.
Yeah.
See how it works both ways? And there are many things that we say we love. And you hear honesty. I love that car. I love that dress. I love that ring. I love that handbag. And lots of people think that this is just a flippant, a word just above like, that indicates that they would like it. And maybe it is. But they use the same word when referring to the kids and the husband.
Yeah.
What differential is there? Because in what you hear them say, there is no differential, is there?
No.
I love my kids. Oh, and I love that handbag. For some people, is there a difference? Is there?
Good one.
I wonder sometimes. I do wonder. Are we going to give up? Of course we're not going to give up. It's always darkest before dawn, as all these cheesy bumper sticker sayings go. It's always the most difficult. When do you do your best work? When you have to.
Yeah.
When do you really rise to the challenge? When you're being competed.
When you're being pushed, yeah,
you're being
to do
pushed
it.
and competed with to do it. And when do we get the best reward? When it's been difficult.
Yes, and you've achieved something.
It is.
You've overcome.
And this system is not making it hard enough for enough people.
No.
Now, I know that's its skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's its trick.
It is.
Of keeping us all comfortable, cocooned, as you might say, until they close the door. And once they close the door, they're going to switch the lights off, and they're going to have their way with us. What do I mean by that, you might say? At some point in the future, unless we can turn this around, they're going to assume what we might call a planetary system of control. That's the idea. We know it is. They want a one world government, a one world army, a one world currency, and a one world set of rules. And they've made no mistake. The neoliberals from the 90 years ago started this. They wrote books about it. Huxley and whatever, all those people, they wrote about the brave new world that they could see coming into being. And we've read those books. We can see it. Today's modern word for them is neoliberals. Doesn't matter. They knew what was coming because they knew to create peace on their terms, they would have to have the power. They would have to have the force. And they would have to be able to exert the force all around the world. And we would have to feel its power. We'd have to feel it exists so that we would do as we were told. Because they're trying to create peace amongst all men.
On their terms.
But they're also recreating man in the image that they need.
Yes, they are.
What's happening to us is what's happened to us before. It's happened to us 2,000 years ago, if you believe the book, and I'm not going to argue. Does God exist? Don't ask me. I'm not prepared to admit or deny it. I feel something more and more important than myself. Something talks to me when I'm quiet. It's maybe just my head. Maybe just my mind. Maybe just my subconscious. But I feel there's something more than what I can touch, taste, see and feel. You know? And that's good enough for me. Do I worship him? No. But I do say thanks very much for where I've got so far. We're never going to give up because there's nothing else that I'd rather do.
No.
Not really. Not really. No. Nothing else I can think of I'd rather do. Here's a trailer for a film that's coming out next year, early next year.
We've always defined ourselves by the ability to overcome the impossible. And we count these moments.
The first ever to fly faster than the speed of sound.
These moments when we dared to aim higher, to break barriers, to reach for the stars.
76, you are go.
To make the unknown known. We count these moments as our proudest achievements.
Having fired the imagination of a generation.
But we lost all that.
Pulls into port for the last time.
Or perhaps we've just forgotten that we are still pioneers, that we've barely begun, and that our greatest accomplishments cannot be behind us, because our destiny lies above us.
Interesting trailer for a film called Interstellar. 10:28, Tuesday, the 17th of December 2013. Our last couple of minutes.
Yep.
How do we round off the year? What have you got over the past 12 months? We've done this every single week.
Yeah.
You've missed maybe one? Have you missed one?
A couple. No, when we went away a couple of times on holiday. In the tent, just camping.
I was a bit insecure, but I was alright when you got back.
Nothing flash. We just
come on then. What have you got over the past 12 months?
The highs and the lows again. It is the sea that we're on. We've been tossed up and down, and it's peaks and it's
not
troughs.
It's not a fair ground, though, is it?
No, it isn't a fair
It's
ground.
not a
no.
fair ground.
And it's
I know
not very attractive either.
It ain't pretty.
No,
It ain't pretty.
It isn't. No.
But I've never been so excited.
No,
about living.
Yeah.
And that might sound a bit of an anachronism. Does it? How can you say it ain't pretty, but you've never been so excited about living? You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
But you have to believe it exists to see it. It is an invisible system to the majority of people that you meet.
Yeah.
And if they won't do the homework, it's not your fault.
No.
Because this is your race. This is your challenge.
Yeah.
And I take it personally. And I try and improve upon it. And we share it all for free. We don't want anything. We've never asked for fame and recognition or reward, and we never will. We'll never go onto somebody else's show because we don't want to do that.
No.
We just want to do what we do.
Yeah.
And I think we've got about 170 odd subscriptions on our YouTube channel. And you know what? That's sort of getting to the point that that's all I think we're going to be okay with. I don't want to get thousands. I don't want that. Because what we're sharing is personal. And it'll only be helpful to a small amount of people.
Yeah.
I don't want people messaging me saying, now what do I do? Now what do I do? Now what do I do? I want people to pick up on the fact that the only thing that programs us is our ability to not see and hear what we do.
Yeah.
We're not here to fight with each other. If you see a guy fighting with a girl, it's not what we're made to do.
No, it isn't. No.
If you see a girl fighting with a guy, it's not normal. It's not what we should be doing. It's Christmas, that marvellous time of the year where everybody makes a vow on, but the majority of people say, we're going to get through Christmas without any drama, dramatics, crisis or problems. We're going to be nice to everybody. We've described this language that we live as a fight. And why do we call the ring? Why do we call it the ring when it's square? And if we can postpone the fight on Christmas Day, you can be darn sure it's going to start again
on Boxing Day.
Even in the First World War, they gave up on Christmas Day, didn't they?
They did, yeah, and had a game of footy.
There was no prior arrangement to this.
No.
They just somehow both felt we won't shoot each other today.
No. Shared a cig and a photograph, and why couldn't that just carried on?
For those that decry Christmas and say that it's nothing but commercial suicide for us all, to one side of the coin, you're right. If we've got adults buying presents for adults, and maybe that's where we're going wrong, really. But there is something about Christmas that is different to any other time of the year.
Yeah.
And although I would never say that we should spoil kids, teach them why this time of year is special.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. The Christmas that you and I, well, we're all taking part in, is only really 140 odd years old.
Yes, yeah. Back to the Victorians again.
It's only that, really, isn't it?
And
I've got the same song that we played last week. I'm going to play at the end. We are going to come to an end in just a minute or two, because we're actually just living a fairy tale of New York. It is just a fairy tale that was written in New York that combined all the stories that existed at the time of what Christmas meant around the world. I know people say that it's Satan, and he rides his sleigh across the sky and comes and tempts the children. It does on the esoteric side of things, but it doesn't unless you let it. If you've got kids and you let that happen, then you're bigger fool you. If you're going to spoil your children, to spoil is to ruin. To spoil is to make unusable or unattractive to somebody else. These are mistakes that we make when we try to do the right thing, and it turns out to be the very opposite of what we thought was going to happen. Every generation becomes more demanding and less capable than the one before it. This is a well-trodden path that repeats in history. But we don't have to repeat it individually. Individually, we can win our race. Can we turn it around? We always have in the past.
Yeah.
But they've never had the power of control they have now. So, the fight's on.
It is.
This is the very crossroads.
Yep.
You know, which way you're going to go. You're going to let this make you feel small and weak. You're going to spread the negative, because when you spread the negative, you're just confirming that you're not going to fight. You might bark a lot.
Yeah.
You might actually make the right noises, but what you're actually doing is you're actually saying, I'm scared. Will you stand with me? That's really what you're doing. When you go with the negative, you're making yourself look scared and frightened and small.
Yeah.
When you go with the positive and you say what you want to say and you stand tall and say, look, this is my truth as I see it today, and if I'm wrong, I'll be delighted, and if I'm right, I hope you're standing with me, because I'm not here to lose. I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
I've lost enough.
Yeah. And the negatives are in black and white, and the true picture is always in colour, isn't it?
Good lad.
And that's what you've got to show, your true colours. Yeah.
And on that note, the last show 2013.
Yeah.
A couple of thank yous to say, and that's to the Awake crew.
Yes, thank you for
who
listening.
put up with us now for months. And even if you don't want me to wish you a happy Christmas, I'd just like you to have a Christmas you enjoy.
Yeah.
Take a moment and look around and feel that special something that exists.
Family, usually.
Just it's the only money you've got.
Cheers.
Because it's the only people that'll actually give you time. Nobody else will.
No.
Nobody else is going to give you time. I know they say they will, but when you test them, I wish you'd asked yesterday.
Yeah.
I've just said I'll go so and so.
I'm washing my hair that night.
I wish you'd said last week. I know. We can only rely on ourselves and people that we've banked on.
Yeah.
Now, people that we've banked on are people that we're in credit with. We've given them something of ourselves.
Yeah, we've invested in them.
And the reason we've invested them, because we think they're a good stock to share.
Yeah.
So we've shared with them. We've put our stock into them, which is our time, which is our money. We've banked with them. And the reason we do that is because we had that money available, that time available. So we banked it, because we know that when we need that time or money back, because it's the same thing, we'll get it.
Yeah.
So bank on your friends. Not to come and help you after the disaster. Bank on them before, so they've got a reason to come and help you after whatever disaster you need them to help you with. It's a happy Christmas to everybody listening.
It is. Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.